Hey there everyone, Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with my world building series, specifically within the auto materials section. So before we continue, I do want to provide a brief shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you would like to join that community, the link is down below. So we are going to now get the noise mask created. That way, for those who want randomly generated forests and whatnot to be using with PCG, uh, and you don't want to have extreme control of where most of the trees and forests are, then this mask is completely ideal and perfect for that situation. Whereas if you want a giant massive forest, an area mask would be ideal, which we'll be going over in the next episode. So for the noise mask, we're going to obviously right click while within the masks folder, and we're going to type our material function, then mf underscore noise mask WBT. Now this one's actually fairly easy and straightforward. The reason being we don't use the edge mask for this, mostly because the mask, the noise node we use, does a good enough job with nothing being repeated, so there's really no reason to do it. If you wanted to use the edge mask, you very well could. You would just need to do what we've done in the previous episodes. So first thing we are going to do is type noise, and we want this noise node. Now with it selected, we want to change this to gradient texture, nope, gradient, there we go, computational. And then we're going to set the levels to 10. We're going to set the output minimum to 0. The output maximum to 1 is going to stay like that. Okay, everything else stays exactly how it is. So naturally, if we go ahead and hit save, first click out here so that we can add this to the library. Obviously, make sure you check mark. Change the name to 1.0 World Building Masks. Hit save. And we come over here, right click, and we choose Noise Mask. Now, if we use this, we're going to see a bunch of a mess. Alright. As you can see, there's a whole bunch going on here. Lots of noise all over the place, and it's not giving us exactly what we want. So we are going to make some changes. First things first, we'll get the left side done first, and then we'll work on the right side. So out of position, we're going to get a divide. And then out of the B, we will do an input. Where is it? Function input. I was on it the whole time. And we will name this input noise size. And then obviously check mark, default is set to 8,000. We'll go with 800. We're not gonna do that. 1. So make this 800. Then out of this divide, we are going to do an add. Excuse me. And then we need to right click world position for the absolute world position. We want XYZ right here. Then out of here, we are going to do another input. We are going to name this one noise shape. We're going to change it to a vector 3. Hold down the number 3 and left click. And for the heck of it, I'm going to have this at 500, 0, and 100. Cool. And we're going to drag that into here. Now we're going to take a quick look. We want this to be 0, the shape to be 1. Now we're going to hit save. And because the noise shape needs something, that means we forgot to make that like that. Hit save. And now we have a bigger number. I mean a bigger pattern here. So that we can better understand what the noise shape is. I'm going to hold down the V button. I'm going to do noise shape. I'm going to plug that in here, hit save, and I will now go to the material instance. 100. As you can see, it's moving it. Now these, the R and the G, move everything left and right, up and down. The B changes the shape because it's going in the Z axis, which means the white is changing shape. Whereas, like I said, the R is moving things along the X axis and the G along the Y axis. So now that we have the left side completely done, let me do some organizing here. It is now time to do the right. There's quite a bit that is on this side, and it is arguably the more important side to me. So we only need one version of this mask. So we're going to type mask to get a component mask. We're going to use G because I like to use G. Our eyes see green better. So there's a little more detail in the G channel. Not much, it's minuscule, but the more the better. And then I'm going to hold down the L key and left click to get alert and put the alpha within G. Now that I'm going to do an input, make sure we check mark it so we don't forget. And this one is going to be the negative slider, default -1. I'm going to copy and paste. This one's going to be the positive slider with the default of 1. Obviously hold down the 1 key. I'm going to make this one a -1. This one a 1. And for the moment, I'm going to drag out of here, saturate, because saturate's the very last node. Like this. You see that difference there? Lots of difference. So we'll hit save. Now it'll be a lot easier to see the difference here. If we watch this right here, watch that one. So you can see the shapes are changing, whereas with these, it's just moving the shapes. So that's the convenience of the noise shape. Now, because we need to now understand a few other things, hold down S to do noise size. It's currently at 800. I'm going to change it to 1500. And then S again for positive. Make it a 1. S again. Negative. Make it a -1. So now if we come right here, we hit save. Obviously now the shapes are going to get bigger, but let's be a little more on the crazy side. Let's say we wanted at what the default was of 8,000. See, now it's pretty big, but we don't want as much white as is there. We now go to the positive. No, now go to the negative. -2. -3. No, not 32. -8. Now, obviously, if we go to 8, it brings it back to what it was. For the most part, there's some differences, but it's pretty much back to where it was. So this is how you would control that. That way, if you wanted an even bigger one, let's go even bigger. As you can see, now we've got these very few patches of where you can put whatever you want for PCG for those locations, assuming you want everything randomized. Now to quickly wrap this up, there's a few more things we need to do so that we can control the contrast and the strength. I'm going to drag out of the lerp, get a power node, input, we want to check mark it. It is going to be called noise contrast. Then we will do a constant bias scale. I don't fully know how this works, but it does, and I keep it exactly how it is. -0.5 into 2. Obviously, you can control Alt to read on what it does. Oh, before we continue, we want to make this, as we said right there, the default is 1. So hold down the 1 to get a 1. Let's change it even more. Alright. Now we want to multiply. And we want another input. Keep it at a default of 1. We'll call it noise strength. So if I were to, because right now this preview value is 0. So 1. There we go. Change this to 2. 3. The grays are getting whiter. The blacks are staying the same. So that just sharpens it. Alright. One more. We need another lerp node, so we're going to hold down L, place it in there. Out of the multiply, we will put into B. A, we are going to put it all the way into the lerp. It's going to look just like this. Excuse me. And then out of the alpha, we will do another input. Put that right here, sorry. Check mark it, and we're going to call this one noise, not noiser, noise intensity. Plug this one into 1 as well. So these are all a default of 1. Defaults of 1, keep it exactly how it is. Okay. Now we need to put everything into order. So how I have it right now is this at 0, then 1, the negative is at 2, the positive is at 3, the contrast is at 4, strength is at 5, intensity is at 6. So if you are wanting the noise node, you would put it before the saturate and after the lerp if you're wanting that noise edge node that we created. So double check that it's exposed to library and that's in the right spot. Hit save. And now we have everything set up for the noise mask. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.